Gabbi Garcia has always had that effortless kind of cool that's confident and modern and entirely her own. And for her March preview cover, we wanted to capture that magnetic energy that sets her apart and dressed in head-to-toe Louis Vuitton, of course. She is a woman in motion, fully in charge of her own narrative. And her story is a testament that in both style and life, the journey matters just as much as the destination. I still remember my first shoot with Gabbi Garcia. She was only 16 years old and her growth has been nothing short of remarkable. From her first preview shoot as a fresh-faced newcomer to now gracing the cover as a woman in command of her own narrative, of her own path, Gabbi Garcia continues to redefine herself and she does it with effortless style.
Preview has always been part of Gabbi's journey in show business. That's why we wanted to go further with her as she goes beyond acting. So the photos depict her traveling, going somewhere. She's hitchhiking, she's in a gasoline station looking for a ride. So that's the overall concept for our March cover. We shot the cover in Bulacan. It's in the middle of nowhere, so we asked Rocket Sets to build a gasoline station from scratch. We initially just wanted the gas pump, but they actually built a full set. Yeah, we love working with them.
So for this shoot, we featured Gabbi in transit. She's on a road trip, and of course, to be able to set that road trip mood, we ourselves had to go on a road trip to find a spot. So Bax and I went on an ocular, and it was literally driving around Bulacan and asking, should we go left or should we go right? As in, we didn't have any specific place in mind. We just knew we wanted like empty highways, vast fields, but we're very lucky that once driving along the highway, we were like, okay, this looks really good. And then as we drove further along, we saw more spots that we could use for the shoot. And lucky enough, we saw a sign for a private resort, which became our holding area because there was nowhere we can actually set up.
So for this cover shoot, we really wanted to capture Gabbi in this part of her career where she's transiting or she's navigating this new part of her career. We thought what better way than to pull out pieces from Louis Vuitton, given that the Heritage House is founded on the art of travel since the 1800s. So we really wanted to come up with looks that feel more sophisticated and elevated. We wanted to match the tones of the setting of the shoot. We sticked with browns, pops of reds, neutral colors like grays, blacks, and whites. And we played around with those and we sort of tried to match it with the different layouts throughout the shoot. Integral also to this cover shoot specifically were the luggages and Louis Vuitton's new line of bags, specifically their new side trunks, since it essentially captures the concept of the shoot, which is Gabbi Garcia, who's in transit or constantly in motion. For the glam of this cover shoot with Gabbi, we enlisted her go-to makeup artist, Jason De Los Reyes, and her hairstylist, Aris Manal. Gabbi actually has naturally glowing skin. She has very defined features, and the beauty look was all about elevating and punctuating that. So we wanted something that looked very bronzy with a dewy base. And for the hair, it was all about soft and relaxed cascading curls.
The fashion film with Gabbi explores the idea of being in transit, not just physically, but emotionally and through time. We wanted to show the different versions of Gabbi, past, present, and future, existing together in one timeline. It's about her embracing every part of who she's been and who she's becoming, showing that identity isn't fixed, but constantly evolving.
Gabbi was actually one of the first celebrities I worked with during my career in preview. Back in 2021, we shot her for her January 2022 cover somewhere in Batangas, and from the get-go, I really felt like she was a warm energy and I really appreciated how down-to-earth she was. I mean, that was the blurb of the cover 3 years ago, and it really proved to be her embodying that aspect of being down-to-earth. And fast forward to 3 years later, she still remains so grounded, and I'm really so happy to have worked with her now 3 years later and to see how much she's grown, but also how much she's remained the same, honestly. Like, she's really so bubbly. She's still so happy to be doing what she does, which I think is very, very important. And in our conversation for the cover story, she did talk about how sustaining yourself as an artist is what really makes you stand out. She's not too engrossed in the idea of making it or being the next big thing anymore. I think at this stage in her career, Gabbi Garcia is really concerned about being her best self, and being her best self entails just being herself, honestly.